DFR Summer Festival round 2, and I know I missed round 1, but I made up for it in round 2, and it wasn't too good of a position. So starting with the qualifying lap, it wasn't the best lap. I did fumble big time, but it was somewhere in the acceptable range. Now I do go a bit late and deep into turn 1, and yeah, it is a bit acceptable, also a little deep, so I tried to go extra aggressive to make up for it. Tried to find extra speed that wasn't available to me through the practice I'd done. Now I was very much experimenting everywhere. I have done my banker lap and I was pushing as hard as I can. If I fumbled big time, it wasn't too bad for me. This is my absolute send lap. So yeah, this opened some room for experimentation, since again my banker lap is there, and I'm just, you know what, if I don't push, then I won't really get to know how fast I can go. So already 0.02 tenths up, or 0.03 if we run it up. We are at least somewhere in the right direction. Ideally I'd be a little faster, but beggars cannot be choosers. So going into this corner, I don't really know the name. You have to go all the way on the shoulder here, hard on the brakes, and then I'm looking to turn in the car and try to force a sort of oversteer to get that extra grip. Nice and easy, pretty much near optimal there. Now into this corner, flat out, you go on the shoulder again, and then you tap in the inner curve, and then on the outside curve, you pretty much use as much of the track as possible without using the gravel. And now into this corner, you brake just behind the 100 marker. You try to use as much of the curve there as possible. I was a little too fast for that, but it wasn't too big an issue. And this is why my main pain point. I really have zero idea what to do there. But again, you can see 0.182 seconds up on my last lap. So that is at least, again, pretty good. We're somewhere in the right direction, but as you can see, Knife got a pretty fast lap in the 5.8, I mean 5.4s, and I'm nowhere even near. But like I said, it's not a good lap, it's somewhere in the acceptable range. And going into the final corner, being nice and sharp, making sure I'm absolutely correct. You can see, using all the space there, just oversteering the car correctly, not to go off the track, I end up with a 156.8. So of course it's a stand start with a brake check. A jump start is absolutely possible, so I have to get my reactions in line, and this is my favorite kind of start. Now, small mistake here, I didn't really need the TCS, so lights out and away we go. I could have gotten just that tiny bit of a better start if I didn't have the TCS, but it's not too big of a deal. As you can see, mayhem already goes on, not even a second into the race. You can see Ace of Bones absolutely doing a send, fucks it into my bumper, bowling with the pins. He absolutely wrecked like 3 cars right there, and you can see somehow stay ahead. And he will get penalized for that later in the scrutineering process. I'm glad I didn't lose too many positions. I actually gained like 2 positions. And you can see Ace of Bones does not stop with mayhem. He's pretty much all over the track, making sure he is the #1 target for the stewards. So I stick close by and look for any position I'm able to make. Now we have Sham Abu Jabal, which is pretty much the best driver to fight right here, because I know how he drives, and it's probably the cleanest also, aside from Knife. And honestly, I am just waiting for a mistake, because I know Ace of Bones is gonna fuck it somewhere else. So I do give the bump for Sham Abu Jabal, and then the Algerian right in front forgets to shift, which leads me to bump right into his rear. Amazing stuff. I never expected that from such a high caliber of racing, as he goes and fucks all 3 drivers. This gives me 3 positions and Potato up ahead. So Potato absolutely benefited from me absolutely smashing into his bumper because he forgot to shift. And like I said, this should be unheard of in such a high caliber. This is pretty much, like I said, some of the highest drivers in the Middle East. So seeing this much mayhem is absolutely shameful, I'm gonna be honest. But I did benefit a bunch from it, so I cannot complain too much. I'm in 4th position, looking at 3rd, probably gonna send an overtake as soon as I can. But again, Abu Jabal behind, he's very keen on finishing ahead. He's a very consistent driver, very sharp, and probably one of the best drivers to race. Not pace-wise, but definitely that he knows how to keep the car on track, and he knows where to overtake and what to do. He's pretty much the only driver I'm comfortable with him sitting on my gearbox, because I know he's not gonna pull anything too crazy. He is very much like me in terms of passive aggression, and that is why I sort of understand how to fight him, and that's why when we both fight, it's like an absolute dance. Now, up in his slipstream, he's going on the right, I'm going on the left. I'm gonna attempt to force an overtake out on the outside. You can see deep on the brakes, I'm way up ahead, and I'm just trying to keep the car on the track. And you can see I just about managed to pull off the overtake. Absolute clean move. And now you can see Potato and Abu Jabal. Abu Jabal up by his side. He's probably gonna send that overtake into turn 3. Now I'm gonna have to be absolutely cautious of what Abu Jabal wants to do, because he will be coming for me, and I can keep him behind. But the question is, will I get penalties or not? Because to be fair, I am not the best with track management. I do end up going off the track, a lot of the time, and I was hoping this is not gonna be one of them, but one can hope, I could say. So I'm pushing as hard as I can, trying to keep, again, Abu Jabal behind. The more I can slow him down, the more he fights with Potato and the drivers behind. So I'm pretty much sitting in a golden position, and like I said, I'm just trying to keep him behind. I'm not even trying to pull further away. I'm trying to cause traffic, cause mayhem, and that benefits me in a way, because when they're fighting, I can pull away. And now, in terms of track practice, I have practically 30 minutes only, no more. So yeah, it's safe to say I'm at a great disadvantage, and it's absolutely my fault, I understand. But I was like, if I had practiced more, but I was practicing the wrong configuration, and found out just an hour before the race we're doing this configuration. I was doing the notch line, so big difference. Good thing that the GP circuit is one of the tracks I'm more decorated at, but doesn't matter how many times you go over it, a practice session is mandatory, as I gained myself a 0.5 penalty, which is pretty much like a Christmas present to Abu Jabal. So I'm gonna be serving it next lap, and until the next lap I'm gonna be trying to cause as much mayhem between Potato and Abu Jabal by purposefully slowing him down where they would fight. That's an actual real-life tactic that many drivers use. And you can see at a point both the drivers will actually hit their high beams to like at least signal to me that I should get out of the way. But this is racing. I am defending a position, and you don't just give way that easy. It's not like I'm under blue flag regulation. As Abu Jabal dives down the inside, switcheroo, absolute perfection. I now go back into third, and now you can see he's very sharp behind, pretty much on my bumper, giving me no breathing space. But again, I am very comfortable with him being there, because I know he's not gonna try something too crazy, and I know where to position my car where he wouldn't be able to overtake. And you can see me pulling that perfectly and going there while maintaining a better exit than Abu Jabal. This is the art of the dogfight, and when Abu Jabal is the fighter against me, I know exactly what to do, and we end up pulling an orchestra of a dance, and it's absolutely amazing. So, like I said, nice, calm, purposefully slowing him down, and he's gonna get frustrated at a point. Of course, it's very frustrating when you want to overtake and there's a very wide car to overtake. And you can see right here, small mistake, no issue. I'm in the prime location, so all that does is slow him down. He cannot really overtake on inside, cannot really overtake on outside. I'm in the middle of the track, nothing he can do. So I'm very much pushing as much as I can, but in about 20 seconds I'll be serving my 0.5 penalty, which will hand over the position to Sham and the driver behind. A 0.5 second penalty is more brutal than people marked out to be. And honestly, I would prefer if I would serve the penalty at the end of the race instead of, you know, the penalty line, which is in about now. I hit the brakes, Sham goes off, and then Potato goes through. I have nothing I can do. Pretty much lost all positions. So one thing I can do is I can try to overtake back again, but Sham is rapid, very fast. He knows this track like the back of his hand, probably because he practiced it for 3 days non-stop. So to him, it's a casual race. To me, it's more of an experimental race. So I go down the inside, overtake on Potato, nothing he can really do. And now he's gonna sit behind and he's gonna look for an overtake into turn 1. He is in the better position, one would argue, but he is where I want him to be, because I know what to do. I know very well how to defend turn 1. And it's a bit of a dilemma, because turn 1, it's a strange corner. Being on the outside is sometimes beneficial, being on the inside is sometimes beneficial. And you can see proper switcheroo. He goes harder than he should, and that's it. Nothing much he can do, because it's a chicane-like corner. 1 second you're turning left, the other second you're turning right. So being on the outside is a bit beneficial. As on the radar you can see he lost a bit of control and pretty much out of the league. So now I am looking to send it and try to catch up to Abu Jabal. But again, he's a challenge to catch up to. It's quite faster than I am. And this is why I was comfortable being ahead, because I knew I could force him to stick to my bumper and not overtake. I know how to defend, but I'm not able to catch up. I'll be fair, he has way more pace than I do, purely because of practice. And I thought I was on medium tires, but it turns out I am on soft tires. And I realized this in a very critical moment of the race, and you will see. So now, practically halfway through the lap, trying everything I can to catch up to Abu Jabal. I thought he was also on the mediums, so I wasn't worrying about the two lines. I really thought I changed my tires, but it was a strategy mistake. So as I just cleared up Schumacher, as we're going into this left-hander, and you can see, yeah, some bit I'm catching up, the other bit is just absolutely overpowering me out of. I do make a slight mistake over here, and that just sends him all the way through. Nothing much I can do. So now, I'm no longer looking at P3, I'm looking to keep P4. I switch goals immediately, because I know I'm not really gonna catch him. So, going into the chicane, absolutely beautiful. You brake on the 100 marker, hard on the brakes, hard on the downshifts, turn in, turn out. You smash that pipe, and this is where the mistake is. I thought I was on mediums, I keep going. I was looking to pit on P5, switch to the soft, and come back out. That didn't really happen, because I was on the softs from the beginning, and I didn't even know. And I realized that once I look at everybody switching, I'm like, shouldn't I pit? And I realized that once I pretty much lose all my pace, because my softs hit the cliff. So now a lap later, I pull into the pits, and I look, I'm 11 seconds ahead, but the pit stop, you lose about 20 seconds, I believe, so I am pretty much gonna go back out behind Abu Jabal, behind Knife. So that's pretty nice. I lost about 2 seconds because I was late on the pit stop. So coming out of the pits, I'm looking at Knife absolutely send an overtake to me, and here's the thing. Knife is Batman in this race. He got hit out in the turn 1 chaos, and now all he's focusing on is gaining as much position as possible. He's on a mission. Man on a mission. He's hunting down everybody. He's not going for less. He's absolutely sending it. And to be fair, he is the fastest driver here. In Gran Turismo terms, he is the player to beat. He's constantly top 1 on most of the charts. Has world records almost in every single time trial. Definitely is the player to beat in every single race. If you go to Gran Turismo daily races right now, and you go to the charts, you go to the qualifying lap times, he's probably top 1. Probably. Because I see him all the fucking time. Since last year till now, every time he's there. And now we're having another issue. Remember the Algerian? Well, he is back, and he's here with some chaos as he absolutely punched my rear. Nothing too major, I'm not off, but he did show me what kind of driver he is. And to be fair, I do understand, but not only is he a little dirty, he's also lagging. You can see his car going left, right, left, right, left, right. So why am I dodging him or the lag? It's gonna be very confusing to fight him, and this is why I absolutely hated having him around. So I'm just trying to defend, making sure I don't fumble, and I am on medium tires, which is a tire I literally just got on. Never practiced it, not half a lap even. So yeah, I am at a severe disadvantage. I really have no idea how this tire behaves, especially in Schumacher S, literally no idea. So here, we're going into this corner. Of course, I have the advantage on the inside, so I just hard on the brakes, nothing much he can do. He just has to retreat. And now, you can see Tamim right behind. So both Tamim and the Algerians are practically teaming right now, and I'm just looking for any desperate solution to get rid of them both. And I'm gonna be trying to hold off Tamim as the Algerian makes a big mistake, goes off the gravel, as, yeah, skill issue right there. Now, going straight on the straight with Tamim behind me in the slipstream, he's gonna be trying it at something, 100%. So, hard on the brakes, I'm just hoping I can do the switcheroo, but he does cover it nicely. Nothing for me to do. He goes on the outside, again, pretty much nothing for me to do. Fully covers up everything. He is pretty good through here, and he did get me this time. So, I'm just trying, okay, to collect myself. This is the final lap. Anything I can do to regain that position. And yeah, I am very close. I do try to get the best possible exit right here, and yeah, that semi happens, but he did get slightly better exit. But again, I'm still in the slipstream, but there is not much room to accelerate here. So hard on the brakes, I thought I could, like, you know, famoose my way out, but I did not see the Algerian at all, which dives on my inside and fucks me over. And now I no longer have, not even P6, I'm back in P7 with nothing to do. And they are about 0.5 ahead. No matter what I do, it's gonna be very difficult because I only have half a lap. And yeah, he does go for a slight mistake, but to me actually it looks like his line. It doesn't even look like a mistake. That's clearly how he goes through there. And yeah, that's it. That's my hopes of keeping not only P5, P6. That's gone. I'm all the way back in P7. But there is one thing I have in mind. The Algerian, not a clean driver, and the scrutineering process is very, very strict. You can practically get a penalty for driving too aggressively. So, with that in mind, I did keep that in mind. I made sure I have footage to send to the steward. So, I wasn't too worried about P7. I knew P6 was mine. All I had to do was just submit some footage and be a little crybaby about it. That's something every driver does, okay? Lewis Hamilton does it, Verstappen does it, Leclerc does it. Don't come to me, as I absolutely show a skill issue right here. So, going to the final corner, pushing as hard as I can. I'm trying to be within 5 seconds because that's the minimum penalty one can get. So, I'm definitely within 5 seconds. Within 3 seconds even if they felt a little lighter. So, I finish the race and I go submit the appeal to the stewards. And luckily, these stewards have approved my appeal and gave him a 10 seconds penalty. Up into P6.